Hey, this is John with TPF, and we are in a strange place. This is a Silver Dollar City video. We're going to be going into the park in just a moment, but I just got all nostalgic. I used to work in the parking lot, and I wanted to come out here. And this video is all about things that are different from when I worked here at Silver Dollar City. And so I worked in the parking lot primarily. I also was a kind of a busser. That was my first job, but I quickly moved over to the parking lot. And I wondered if this lot was still happening. And you can see up here, it's Blackberry number 7. Back in the day, we used to call it, I don't know if we called this Shads, something like that, or I was thinking maybe the name John somebody, or we had different names for different lots. And back when I was in the parking lot, things were so unbelievably different. Of course, we had the green trams, and that was fun, driving the tram and sitting on the back and talking. Most of us were like in our 20s and 30s because it was hard. And I remember showing up at 7:30 in the morning, and we'd get here to the park, and we'd get all the trams ready to go, and then we'd get the parking lots ready to go. All the parking lots were not self-park, and so we had to park every single car. Some of you you've been to, theme parks that do that. They, Disney World, they do that still, where they will park every single car. I'm not sure if they do that in the early mornings here. I don't think they do. But so we would be out here. It would start to get hot. Most of the lots were gravel, and so there was dust picking up everywhere. So we would be out there sweating and parking these cars, and then we'd have to jump in the back of a pickup truck and move off to another lot. And on busy days, we'd come out here. And this is one of the lots we'd go to, and we would be parking cars out here, and the buses would be coming in to take people back, and so there was quite a bit different. There was no paid parking that I remember. There was no there were no booths. In fact, when you first come into, you turn into Silver Dollar City, there's a light there, right? A stoplight. No stoplight there. There was a deputy that would work there, and he put on his deputy clothes and run traffic. And then when he was done doing that, it was just a 4-way stop or a 3-way stop. And then he would come and put on his parking lot uniform, which was horrible. It was this khaki, solid polyester shirt and pants. Man, it was hot. And so that was different. I would stand at the entrance, where the entry sign is with the waterfall that's coming down. I would stand there all the time, hours and hours and hours, directing cars where to go, where to park. I'd had the radio, and people would be directing, which way to go. The trams would stop as they're passing by and give me some cold water, and so that's how I'd stay hydrated. But there was so much that was different. Some of you that maybe you work in the parking lot, or you have maybe some inside info about how things maybe are different now, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're the same. I wondered about this lot, and it looks like, of course, they're still using this one on busy days. But so we're gonna get into the park. Again, when I would work here from 7:30 in the morning until I think 4:30, and then I would get off. I'd have an hour off, and then I would go and work at a mini golf course from 5:30 until usually 1 or 1:30 in the morning, and then I'd have to do it all over again the next day. And I did that day after day after day after day. Some really, really good memories, and so. Yeah, it's different. Right now, pretty much it's just running the trams during the day. That's what's going on, and of course, the paid parking booths. So that's going on. But we would have these rotations where we would rotate from driving the tram to standing out at the front entrance to there's all sorts of stuff. We would be all over these parking lots, and I don't know that they really do that so much today. I wonder if they have people that actually park cars in this lot. I don't know. You can let me know. Do they do that, or they just shoot people this way and have them park wherever? I would imagine they've got to have people parking cars in a place like this. There's no stripes. But anyway, yeah, what do you know? This whole day, this whole video is going to be stuff that I kind of remember. This was like 35 years ago. So you got to understand, this is a long time ago. 35 years ago, what has changed? Where is my memory not quite correct? You can help me with that. And what has not changed? So let's get into the park. All right, so check it out. So first of all this parking lot used to be, based on what I remember, just gravel, just everywhere. I don't know if part of it might have been paved, I can't remember, but you know, everything else definitely gravel. But it's right over here where I would stand for hours and hours and hours a day, and where it was just crazy hot. Right down here, there was like a parking area where motorcycles would go park. And I remember one time that I was there and a car just blew past me, and he goes down that way. And I'm like, whoa, I'm yelling at him, stop. And so I actually go running. I mean, sprinting after this car. And he was faster than me, so I never found him. But, you know, of course, all of the parking lot that we see today, it's amazing. It's just incredible. You know, and sometimes people say, well, the parking spots are a little too tight. I've got a gigantic vehicle, an Expedition, like the XL, and with limited exceptions, I'm always able to squeeze in, always able to make it happen. So I think it's just about right, just perfect. So anyway, so we're getting into the park, and we're gonna kind of think about what else is different. I'm gonna have to rack my brain. What has changed? I want you to pipe in, leave comments, and let me know, maybe over the last, let's say 20 to 40 years, what's different. And remember, I'm talking, for me, it's 35 years ago. So I was about 20 years old, 19 and 20, when I worked here in the parking lot. And so it's been a long time. So this area here was not here. And the trams would simply come up from that direction. But we would drive down that way where he's going right now. We'd make a big loop just like they're doing. And I don't believe they had parking in here. We would park the trams here at night. Just like that guy over there. I'd sit on the back of the green trams, and I'd have fun. I would tell people all sorts of different things, like over here in the woods, you know, down around there, I'd tell them that keep your arms and legs inside, as there are poisonous spitting llamas in the trees. And I'd say it very serious, of course, and people would be looking for them. And then one by one, they'd look back at me like, say, what? I tell them that the cave has moved. I tell them that. Something that I did tell them that they never believed me, but was true, is at one point they had peanut butter hamburgers, which were so good. Peanut butter hamburgers. People never believed me, but that was true. So right up here, and over to the right, that's where our office was for the parking lot. So we would hang out in there, and the PIC person in charge, or the supervisor, he would hang out in there. And then what we would do is at night, the park would close at 6, and they would have the show at Echo Hollow that would go for a couple hours. So we would just hang out here for a couple hours and do nothing. We'd take an extended break. And then we would also go into the park, and we would retrieve strollers, you know, those stroller rentals. They'd get left all over the park. We'd have to go ahead and grab all of those. And then by the time it was about, usually around 8:30 or 9, actually it was later than that. Maybe it was, sometimes it was that. I think in the summer it was even later. I wouldn't get out of here until 11:30 at night sometimes. And these are, sometimes I would work that shift. And so it was dark out and like a ghost town. And all of a sudden, just right through here, people are just flooding out of Echo Hollow. And man, we were just swamped taking people back to their cars. And we would keep going until every single last person got to their car. And so we would do that as well. What's up? Rain's coming. Oh well. Yeah. So when my dad worked here, he worked here 27 years in a variety of roles, human resources primarily, and he would work up in this building right up in here. So there's a doorway right over there. Go up a staircase, and then you have all sorts of offices up in there. And so most of the time he would be in there, and I've spent a lot of time in that building. They didn't have security when I was working here back in the day. I mean, they had security guards, but they didn't have this. We are under an umbrella. Rainy days are some of the best days to come to Silver Dollar City. Why? Of course, it's cooler, and most importantly, the crowds are much smaller, and so you have the whole park to yourself. I think this is what they call torrential. Torrential. Oh, that's a good picture. Look how shiny those flowers are. All right. So many of you know that in the church right there, my dad preached all the time, and I preached twice. Those times, 2 times, and preaching the fire of the Holy Spirit. All right, so right up here, where it says Wagon Works Grill, this used to be a cookie store, big giant cookies. Oh, over on the left, I'm on the wrong side of the creek, but over on, let's see, we can go over there. Over on the left, where they have the knives, you would actually be able to shoot a gun. Like, I don't know, a 22, an actual gun. No, not a 22, what was it? It was a, like a musket ball gun with gunpowder. Ooh, you hear that thunder? Oh, that was the ride? Oh, he even told me that was the ride, that wasn't thunder. So tonight, as long as the weather holds up, we're going to Shepherd of the Hills, going to the outdoor drama. Also going to the Chuck Wagon dinner and show. So the American Plunge was here when I was here, that's for sure. Now, I am trying to remember, but I do not believe, in fact, I'm pretty certain that Wildfire was not here when I worked here. Someone's got to look that up. I worked here in like 1989, 1990, maybe 88. And of course, this new area, that ain't even here yet. This place is always changing. So Wildfire, I'm pretty sure, someone look it up, confirm. I think that was built sometime in the 90s. I don't know. I am spitballing, as they say. This waterfall was there. Now, when I was here, you could walk behind the waterfall. And I don't know why that's not possible anymore. But I was able to walk back there. You could walk back and around. Not anymore. This eating section, this is pretty new. It was definitely not here when I was here. And Eva right here, she was definitely not here when I worked here.
Yeah.
Were you? No. No. All right, let's go this way. Hey, the sun's coming out. I really need the sun to stay out so I can go to the Shepherd of the Hills outdoor drama tonight. It's incredible. It's one of my all-time faves. All right, Eva's gonna stop and get a drink. I think I will too. All right, so the saloon show is definitely here. But Powder Keg? No, I don't believe it was, no. And then even its predecessor, Buzzsaw Falls, was not here when I worked here. This stand wasn't here. I don't know what that was. I can't remember, if anything. Now the Opera House was here. And over here, of course, Fire in the Hole, the old Fire in the Hole. It was most definitely here. Fireman's Cemetery, which there's questions about what they're going to do with that. What are they going to do with that? But yeah, it's the old Fire in the Hole. So basically a dead end, other than the Opera House over that way. No Powder Keg. And again, you all got to remember, my memory is not perfect. In fact, it's susceptible to all sorts of confusion. And it is, some of this stuff might be sus, as the kids say. I'm tempted to go see the saloon show, but we'll do that another day. It's a great show this year. So anytime my memory is incorrect, let me know. Over there at the Tintype, I don't know where it is. I would love to find it. But me and my family, my mom, dad, brother, we had a Tintype made. So that was there. Silver Dollar City Scenic Railway Line, the Frisco Silver Dollar. It was, of course, it was here. Now this area right up here, see the bridge up there? That used to be a play area where kids could go up there and play. See all that up in there? Wouldn't that be fun, Eva?
It's just a bridge.
No, there was all sorts of fun stuff up in there.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
That's true. You haven't seen it. Because it hasn't been here for a while. We're in Crossroads Pizza. It was not here. There's some good pizza in here, though. All right, over on the right over there, you've got Tom and Huck's. Not here when I was here. It was a very different park. And some of you watching this, you're like, I know you're kicking into like ancient history kind of mindset where it's hard to fathom, like when I watch the Andy Griffith Show, it's kind of hard for me to put myself there. This ain't that. This was not that long ago. Oh, look at that. Jesus set me free. See that t-shirt right there? We were in the UK for 3 weeks. We did not see one Christian t-shirt. I know that's not the end all and be all of our Christian faith, of course. But we didn't see one. Over here at Silver Dollar City, you see them everywhere. Amy wore one and someone came up to her, a couple people did, and we're just so blessed to find a fellow believer in Jesus. So, okay, this area this way, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think it was there at all. I think this was a dead end starting right here. Nothing over there, nothing. Of course, back there they got the Barn Swing and Outlaw Run. Dockside Theater was here. That was here. And of course, Mystic River Falls wasn't here.
What up, man? I've
Hey.
seen your YouTube quite a few times.
Right on.
That's amazing, man.
Where are you from?
Omaha, Nebraska.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, sweet, brother.
All right. Okay, so here we have Mystic River Falls. Of course it wasn't here. And the very first ride that I remember here was the diving bell, Rube Dugan's diving bell. And it entered kind of just straight ahead over there a little bit. My favorite, probably my favorite all-time ride. Sure wish they would bring that one back with all the modern technology and all the ability for incredible capacity. But then when I did work here, they had the Lost River of the Ozarks, which was in this area as well. A lot of people say they like Lost River of the Ozarks better. I just can't imagine that being true. I wonder if that's just, again, kind of that nostalgia kicking in. You know, how that works is like, it's like if you think about the way things used to be, it's like, oh, those are the good old days. Everything was better back then. And a lot of people are adverse to change. And typically, Silver Dollar City just absolutely nails it when things change. You know, the new Fire in the Hole is an example. Oh my goodness, incredible. And they didn't deviate from the old story, from the old ride really at all, except for upgrading it, which was just brilliant. But I remember Lost River of the Ozarks. Let's see, I'm gonna go a different direction here. All right, before I head over there and try to get my bearings, here at the Dockside Theater, the Rivertown Ramblers are phenomenal. They're incredible. But when I was here, I remember the River Rats. Some of y'all remember the River Rats? Dixieland Band. And so they would be right in here. Now here's a question for everybody. Now of course the smokehouse wasn't here. That wasn't here at all. When did cinnamon bread start? When did that come onto the scene? Because I don't remember cinnamon bread being a thing back when I was working here. I could be wrong, as I keep saying. Eva, am I ever wrong about anything?
How would I know?
See, of course not. Of course not. All right, so there is a strange smell. It's not the cinnamon bread. Maybe it's flowers. I smell flowers or something. Is that what it is? So right in here somewhere, right along Lake Silver, which is back that direction now. It used to be bigger. There was a walkway, it was right around in here, that would take you over to the entrance of Lost River. And you would go through this long entrance, this long queue, through the caves. There was also a playground over there with tunnels. I remember that. And I would crawl through those. And then the one cool thing that Lost River did have was at the end of the ride, you did go into a cave. And I remember when I first got on Mystic River, I was like bummed a little bit, even though the ride was just incredible. Look at that ride. That there wasn't a cave system that you went through. I'm all about like dark rides. I love that stuff. But anyway. All right, so we got the Riverfront Playhouse. Now this place is awesome. The show that I remember in this theater was called Hatfield's Haint. And it was a drama, a production show, and it was a fun, hokey, Hatfields, McCoys type, kind of ghost story kind of thing. And I remember that. That's one of my all-time favorites. I don't know how many times I've watched that. Silver Dollar City. If there's one thing that would be amazing, is if you would bring back these production shows in the summer and in the spring and in the fall. I know you got it going on at Christmas, but man, that's just my favorite. I mean, I could go time and time and time again. Music type shows, I like those too, but I'm kind of one and done or two and done. But a show like The Saloon, I'll be there over and over and over again. Another show like that right in here, Oh, it would be just the best of the best of the best. So just keep that in mind. That's a request. It's an official request. All right. Woo! All right. So we have Lake Silver right here, and as I said, it used to be much bigger. And it used to go way over that way. Now, I'm trying to remember again, when I worked here, 1989 or so, was this section here, what is now the fire district, was this here in any form? I know that they had the, my brain just quit, the ball pit, the Geyser Gulch. Geyser Gulch. I know they had that at some point. I remember that being brand new and there was all this hoopla about it and it was all exciting. And I wonder if that was after I worked here. I don't know, someone help me with that, you can look it up. But this shortcut that we're gonna take wasn't here. This was not here. All right, so that area over there, of course, that's the new Fire in the Hole. And there's a new path, we'll take that in a moment, over to the plaza. And that's all brand new. Of course, that wasn't here. But I'm just having the hardest time remembering if this section was here at all. This might have not been here. Somebody help me. Now we have some exciting news. Woo, bubble. The path that is open during Christmas and Harvest is open now. I made a short about this saying, please open this back up, please open this back up. And Silver Dollar City commented and said, it's opening this summer. Well, it's open. You can see somebody guarding the track right there. They will shut that gate when the train comes through. So all of this wasn't here. All right, so I am not gonna walk all the way through it for the sake of time, but the Grand Exposition is up there. Somebody look it up. I do not believe the Grand Expo was here when I worked here in 1989. I think it was completely undeveloped. I don't think there was anything there at all. I think Echo Hollow was kind of the end of the trail. You know, and you just had to keep looping around to the left. Look it up. When was the Grand Expo developed and when did that open? Because I don't think it was when I was here. All right, so instead of going through the Grand Expo, man, we got 3 different ways we can go. We can go to the Grand Expo, we can go this way, which is what we're gonna do, or of course we can go the way we just came. I love it. Hey.
There he is.
I am so happy, and I'm sure it's all because of you,
I know, probably is.
that this is open.
Oh yeah, let's say, yeah, he opened it up just today. First day we're doing it.
Oh really, first day?
Yeah, I have to say, it's a lot of it is also test run as well.
Yeah?
So, but it's gonna stay open pretty much from now until the end of summer nights though, so.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I love it. This just makes it so much easier, doesn't it?
I agree. You know, a lot of people will say, how to get to the plaza? Like, we go this way now.
Yeah.
Here. Exactly. But then people ask me still where the rides are. It's like, I want to go back that way or turn left.
Yeah.
Or go that way and you can get to the flooded lines.
Yeah, a lot more options now.
Exactly. Yes.
Awesome. All right, my friend. Enjoy. Okay, this is the path that I was telling you all about. Of course, during Foggy Hollow, you know, during like harvest time, it's pretty cool back here. They got all sorts of fog and haze, and all of these lights that you're looking at, they light up. They got this magical, mystical kind of a vibe. But oh, this shortcut is so good. Oh, Lord. Lord Jesus, thank you. Thank you, Lord Jesus. Because otherwise we would have had to walk all the way through the Grand Expo to get way up by Echo Hollow. And so now, if I want to get me a new pretzel at this brand new pretzel stand, Sadie's, that wasn't here when I was here, I just come right over here, take money out of my pocket and give it right to them. All because of this path. Oh yeah, look at this. How can I forget this? This is epic. This structure right in front of you. This is the Wilderness Water Boggin. And if you can imagine, 2 slides coming out, one on each side, and going all the way down there with twists and turns, and
That'd make you so
it was a water slide, and you were in kind of a toboggan, and you would get a little wet, and it was amazing. But you'd have to walk up all of those stairs, which is crazy, and then they weighed you. There's big giant scales up there. They would weigh you to make sure that everything was balanced out correctly. Now, fun fact, ready for a fun fact, Eva?
sure.
I was a test rider for this. They built a prototype in the parking lot, the employee parking lot, and I was a test rider for this ride when I was a kid. When I was a little kid, you know, a decent sized kid, maybe 13 years old, or I don't know, something like that. Kind of your age.
You have to, they just like let you do that.
And yeah, they just let me do that. And then, and correct me if I'm wrong again, but I think this was also reproduced at Dollywood, which used to be Silver Dollar City also. Now we've got the Boatworks Theater. This was here when I was here. If we keep going straight, that's going to be down back into Rivertown, which Rivertown wasn't a thing back then, but it was just a part of the park. All right, let's go back up this way. All right, so up here, I think that this was the, the continuation of the loop, and the only way you could turn is right. I think that's the case. You couldn't go left. But Echo Hollow was definitely here. It was also right in this area where I had my very, very first job as just a little dude bussing tables. And I still remember having to wipe down wet tables. I remember as if it were yesterday, as they say. But these food shops were not here. All of this was configured differently. Now over here on the left is Time Traveler, and it was not here when I was here. As far as I can tell, there were no roller coasters at Silver Dollar City when I was here. No roller coasters at Silver Dollar City when I was here, none. Thunderation was the first. It came along, I think, after I left. Up here we've got the train, we got the flooded mine. Not gonna walk over there. Those were here. But this section over here was no roller coasters. So Time Traveler over there, Thunderation, neither one of those were here. The bridge was here, and there was a time when this was the parking lot. So I'd be standing in the parking lot for Silver Dollar City, and the way you got into the park was over the swinging bridge. This play area over on the right was not here. Let's see, over there's the carousel, it was not here. Boy, look at that thing going. There's some water coming off that thing. We got a little warm. Hey, look at that, the sun's out. Sullivan's Mill was here. grandfather's mansion was here, right there. And right over here was the tree house. And you can see the remains of it. But there used to be a big tree, a fake tree, that was hollow. And you would go into the hollow tree, go up a spiral staircase, get you up there. There'd be a swinging bridge that would take you over there into that structure. And there was all sorts of stuff up there. And you would overlook the area down here, and you go from room to room. And then you would finally, in fact, the exit is still there. So this is the exit, but right now it leads to nowhere. And I also remember there being an exit down here. Maybe? Yeah, out of this building maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure on that one. I think? I don't know. But yeah. So that's something that is no longer here at Silver Dollar City. So that's my tour. There it is, started in the parking lot. So much has changed there. And we walked pretty much the whole park. The one thing that is gone that I wish was back, Rube Dugan's Diving Bell. That's the one. I miss it. Miss you, Rube. And so if Silver Dollar City could bring that back, that would be incredible. So let's head out of the park, and I'll take you with me here for a moment. Other than that, safe travels, everybody. Safe travels, Eva. Oh, the Mine Restaurant. That's been closed for a long time. It was definitely running when I was here. These guys are awesome.